Welcome to the WhamTech EIQ product suite. This video will demonstrate some basics on how to connect to data sources, index data, and apply transforms. The first step is creating a DSN for a data source. This is done through the 64-bit ODBC Data Sources application. Launch the ODBC administrator, click on the System DSN tab, and click Add. Select the appropriate driver for the data source. In this demonstration, we use SQL Server Native Client. Enter the name of the data source and its server location. Then, specify the authentication method. Select Change Default Database To and select the database from the drop-down menu. Don't change anything else. On this last page, change nothing. Just click Finish. Test the data source to make sure there's a proper connection and click OK. Click OK again to create the DSN. Now, we need to move on to creating the indexes. Open the EIQ Server RTI tool and provide the necessary credentials. Select Create a new EIQ Index RTI map, and then select OK to launch the wizard. Connect to the desired data sources by entering or browsing for the appropriate DSN and providing the credentials for that source. Then specify the name and path where the index will be stored. Click Next. Here, you'll specify the global data type map. This will control how external data types will appear in the index. Click Finish to load the schema and OK to continue to the indexing screen. The RTI tool opens in profiling mode by default. In this mode, you will build the initial indexes, analyze data, and apply transforms to the data. The left side of the tool will display the data source schemas, tables, and columns that can be indexed. The RTI tool begins fetching the metadata when users expand the trees. The first step is to add all of the columns and tables you wish to build the EIQ index with. This can be done by double-clicking specific columns or right-clicking a table and selecting Add All. Repeat this step for the rest of the tables. Once all the desired tables and columns have been added to the index, build the raw profile index by selecting Build Profile from the toolbar. The build wizard opens up for you to specify the desired build type. Select Full Build to remove an existing index if one exists and create the EIQ index. Select Server Build to send the map to the server for building. Select Test Build to perform the same actions as a full build but on a sample set configurable from the Options menu. Select Refresh Index if the EIQ index already exists and you only want to refresh the content. Or select Apply Changes if the EIQ index exists and minor schema changes were made. Apply the changes and process only the affected objects. Accept the notification by selecting an option and build. The wizard changes to a progress report on the build process. Building a profile index allows you to analyze the data and find errors before building the actual index. Then you can apply transforms and clean up the data. When the profile index is finished building, investigate the data and begin analyzing it. For instance, if you were to right-click the Social Security number column and select Analyze Data, you can see that the data is not formatted like a normal Social Security number. You can also see the distribution, most and least frequent, the number of distinct records, and etc. The EIQ product suite provides a transform to properly format Social Security numbers. Right-click the Social Security number column again, and this time select Transforms. The Data Type Mappings tab allows users to change the data type of the column and specify column length. The second tab allows users to select transforms compatible with the imported data type. From the default transforms list, select Format SSN and double-click it to add it. Then click Apply and OK to close the window. Analyzing the data again will show the new, properly formatted SSN. We can apply transforms like this to Social Security numbers and phone numbers. Other transforms are available to look up state names, correct addresses, mask data, substitute values, and many more. These transforms are applied to columns and only to the column where it's defined. These are called column transforms. Once all of the data has been analyzed and is up to standards, switch the RTI tool from Profile mode to RTI mode. This mode builds the full EIQ indexes that the rest of the EIQ product suite will utilize. Next, we need to set flags and keys and assign row IDs to each table in the index. Here are a couple of terms you may need to know. A row ID is a unique identifier that is used to retrieve raw results data from matching rows from the data source. You can have up to 5 composite row IDs per object, 1 primary, 1 secondary, and up to 3 extras. By default, it becomes a non-virtual key. A primary key is used for automatically performing join operations across tables. It works in combination with the foreign key. Foreign keys are going to point towards primary keys. A virtual key allows us to build a tree structure of the data, and then the data is discarded afterwards. This is the default option. A non-virtual key builds the tree structure and stores the data within the index. A virtual column exists in the index, but no trees are built. You cannot filter on this column. A timestamp column is used to identify the most recent record when creating MDM. Now we will apply another transform. In the person phone table, you should see 4 columns. One contains the phone type, while the other 3 contain part of the phone number. When data is split into multiple columns like this, you can use a transform to combine the data into one column. Create a derived column by right-clicking the person phone table and selecting Add Derived Column. This column will serve as the output column for the transform. Next, right-click person phone again and select Transformations. The transformations listed here are different than the transformations you saw earlier. These are table transforms, and they are currently only available in RTI mode. They usually require a derived column to store the output and at least one data source column where the initial data is located. Select the Combine transform and click Edit to modify the parameters. This particular transform combines multiple columns into one column with a specified delimiter. Select the input columns and arrange them in the appropriate order. Then select the output column and enter a delimiter. Click Add to generate the output string. With the transform now defined, make sure to apply it. The RTI tool will not build an EIQ index if a table does not have a row ID. For the demonstration, all the ID columns are designated as row ID primary plus primary keys. Next, you'll need to designate foreign keys for the primary key columns. This will link the tables together. Some clients may experience different designations based on their data. Once all of the tables have row IDs assigned, you'll need to specify timestamp columns. Timestamp columns come in handy when you're creating master data. Now, build the EIQ index. When finished, close the dialog and close the map. You'll need to repeat these steps for each data source you want to build an EIQ index on.